Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the #1 professional wrestling radio show in Las Vegas. This is the Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Going bell to bell with the best in professional wrestling news, entertainment, and lots of Sin City surprises from inside the squared circle. Now, let's get to all the exciting pro wrestling action and bring on the host. Here is Mark Hoke.
There we go. Let's get that mic on. There we go. Good morning, everybody. What's happening? It's the best in pro wrestling news and entertainment here on the Mark Hoke Show, here on KDAWN on 101.5 FM. It is the talk of Las Vegas, and we are thrilled to have you joining us here on the show. Just going to be a great one. Boy, I'll tell you what, a wild week. And I got to tell you, I have a very special friend in the studio with me today. I can't believe he's here. I just can't. NJ Holiday is hanging out with me today. My friend, what's going on?
Hey, blessed to see another day, man. It's your favorite holiday. NJ Holiday back here on the Mark Hoke Show. Got a lot of wrestling to talk about through a jam-packed weekend. We had TNA. We had the return of Jeff. We had Clash of the Castle. Controversy struck. And, man, we had NXT Battleground here in Las Vegas. It's a lot to get into, Mark. Let's get it.
Oh, man, I'll tell you, it was one hell of a week. I mean, we're going to get 1 week to breathe before Forbidden Door, too, man. I'll tell you, the world of pro wrestling, it has changed so much in the past 3 years, I can't believe it. I mean, this has been unreal. It used to be, we get a WWE pay-per-view and pretty much everybody else was kind of or non-existent. And now, man, it never stops, my friend. It never stops.
And we don't want it to stop anytime soon, man. Let's just keep this hot train rolling. I'm excited for what's to come.
Yeah, and by the way, of course, don't forget, we're also, of course, not just on KDAWN, but we're on the Odyssey app. So if you haven't downloaded the Odyssey app, well, I don't know what your problem is. Other than just being stubborn, download that app. It's got all these great shows on it besides ours, so download that app. You can be able to listen to us wherever we are. And, of course, we're also streaming on YouTube and Facebook. So if you go to the Mark Hoke Show on either of those platforms, you're going to be able to get into the chat box and say hi to us and give us your comments. We'd love to hear what you thought of any of those cards that happened this week. So say hi to us. NJ loves to hear all these great comments.
Sure do. Don't be shy. Download the Odyssey app now. Do it. Do it now.
Yeah.
I'd do it for you.
Really?
I sure would.
I know NJ would. He's an awesome guy. So very happy to have you with us, NJ. And, of course, hour 2, Matt Black from WrestleZone is going to be joining us. And if you have heard Matt on the show before, you know he's going to bring a very unique take to things, to say the least. So get ready for Matt Black from WrestleZone, hour 2, joining us. So, it's kind of hard to pick a place to start, but I guess we'll go with Clash at the Castle first, NJ. And it was an interesting evening to describe it. It has gotten a lot of reaction, positive and negative, from around the wrestling world. And, I'm gonna save the main event for last. We had a really good main event last night, or opening match, I should say, with Cody Rhodes and AJ Styles. A pretty good I Quit match.
Oh, very good I Quit match. Storytelling at its finest. Shout out to Mama Rhodes. She did the thing in that match, too.
Mama Rhodes was great. Slapped AJ a few times.
3 times. Three times. Damn. I thought AJ was going to go take it back to the old Bullet Club days, get that chair, and knock her out with no kind of like consequences in mind. But yeah, very good story. He poked the bear, and then he just gave Cody Rhodes a little bit too much time to gather the power of those 11,000 strong Scottish fans that packed out the OVO Hydra Center. And hey, Cody Rhodes is showing why he is the face of the company right now.
Yeah, he did a fantastic job last night, and that got everybody going. Some good Scottish singing, by the way. None of that French crap. Just no. Phenomene, whatever the heck they were singing, it just sounds stupid.
Cody Rhodes,
yeah.
Cody Rhodes, we love Cody Rhodes. I loved it.
Yeah, you get the Scottish. You can tell they were drinking some beer too, and that's the way you do it. We had an upset last night, and I'm really curious to hear what your thoughts are on this match, because the unholy union, which is Alba Fire and Isla Dawn, who are both Scottish, get the win last night in that triple threat match and win the WWE Women's Tag Team titles. So the Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill reign, which honestly I thought this might run up to pretty close to WrestleMania, may have the two of them explode close to it and get that big match that I think a lot of people are anticipating. Well, this ends up being a 42-day reign as Fire and Dawn end up winning that match over them and Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark. And, the reign is over, and I hate to say it. I'm not trying to be mean, but Jade struggled last night. I mean, I don't think there's any other way to say it. She did. She had some issues yesterday.
I saw that the one moment in the match that Jade kind of lost her footing on. From what I saw, like I said, it was a three-way match. You got 3 tag teams in there, a multi-man match, a multi-woman match. So it's a lot of aspects that will happen in a match that you're not going to plan for. I don't think she really struggled. She had the one spot where she just took a misstep. But I'm not going to discredit her. I'm not going to discredit the improvements that I have seen in the ring that she's displayed over the last 6 months. Because remember, she debuted at the Royal Rumble. Right. In Tampa, Florida. I was there for that. A beautiful debut. Had the internet talking. Made a hell of a first impression for her debut. And then, like I said, she ends up having her first WrestleMania match, and that's another multi-woman match where she tagged with Trinity and Bianca to up against Damage Control, and they won that match. And if you remember the WrestleMania 40 match, it wasn't that long. That 6-woman match was, I want to say, maybe 7 or 8 minutes. But Jade and Bianca, they are the team. They were a beautiful women's tag team that held the title with grace, and they lost last night, not being pinned. Let's keep that in mind.
That is very true. They
lost that that 3-way women's match last night without being pinned, and that was a well done performance from Alba Fire and Dawn. Because keep in mind, Mark, you said it was an upset, but I don't think it was an upset as much because Isla Dawn and Alba Fire, they were the most longest tag team. The 2 competitors been in the tag team the longest, I should say, in that match. And they were former NXT Women's Tag Team Champions. And I cannot applaud WWE anymore for the way that they structured that match and the way that they booked that match to where they had 3 teams go in there. They had the hometown girls from Scotland, born and raised, win the titles in their home country in front of their home friends and family. And then they kept Bianca and Jade looking strong because they weren't even involved in the finish. So, yes, Jade had a misstep, but Jade also had a lot of good moments in that match as well when she had the double spot where she had Shayna in the fireman's carry and she had Dawn in front of her, and she slammed both of them and still did a kip up afterwards, getting a 2-for-1 special, and had the Scotland crowd roaring in approval right behind her.
Yeah.
So she had a lot of good moments, and then her and Bianca executed on her tag team finishes. But as you remember in Backlash, she nailed that move perfectly in France. It was just like, it just so happened she misstepped here in Scotland, and it is what it is. She'll learn from it.
Yeah, there was another spot late in the match there too, where she kind of came up short on a spot. But yeah, she has a lot to learn. She's getting there. She's getting there, and she's just too good an athlete to have those things consistently happen. But right. It's going to take some time. But it's got to be tough for her. You think about it. She's only wrestled probably about 70 matches in her career at this point.
Yes.
Ballpark
70 matches. But like I said, she's the longest reigning TBS champion that ever was, and then she went all the way to I believe 60, maybe 60-0, and then she finally lost to Chris Statlander here in Las Vegas. She went for double that one night. She beat Anna Jay, and then she went for double, and she thought she could beat an injured returning Chris Statlander. She left for nothing. But, yeah, she has maybe 75, maybe 77 matches underneath her belt. But keep in mind, she is 31. She is a cross-trained athlete coming from basketball, along with Bianca Belair. Both of them played hoops in their college days. And I'd say this, shout out to Mark Henry once again for finding these young ladies and getting them into the pro wrestling business, because they've done a lot for the culture, especially representing and giving a nice beacon of hope for young other African-American women that want to strive to enter the pro wrestling business.
Absolutely, yeah. They're and I look forward to seeing Bianca and Jade. They're probably going to win those titles back pretty quick.
Oh, yeah, they're going to, yeah.
It won't take, I don't think it'll take too long.
Yeah.
Chad Gable goes down yesterday, and Otis has become chivalrous again. He's very good at carrying women away from the ring.
Yes, he is. Mandy from Mandy to Maxie.
Man, he's a ladies guy.
From Mandy to Maxine. Sir.
Good for him. Good for him.
And let's keep in mind where Otis started from. Otis was literally, because I can say it, because I was, because everybody knows that NJ Holiday is a worker, and I'm part of one of the illustrious pro wrestling factions in the independent scene right now, Culture Inc. So, story with Otis, because Culture Inc. was formed where? In Orlando, Florida, 2018. As we're getting our feet wet in the wrestling business in the independent scene, we was helping out with some local shows that NXT were doing, not at the Performance Center, but at other little towns, other little cities that are in Florida. And I remember going to one in St. Augustine, Florida, a little bit outside of, I want to say, Palm Springs or Palm Bay. But yeah, as we're helping with the NXT staff and crew, Otis is there, and he's just a traditional bodyguard, a traditional security guard, working the front, letting the people in, and stuff like that, and joking around and chastising and kidding around with some of the wrestling fans coming into this local NXT show. They guys like people like Ricochet. You had Adam Cole. You had Drew McIntyre making his return to the WWE, and this is when he was with the NXT, and Bobby Roode. So yeah, Otis is dope. He was joking around. He was actually doing the worm with another fan outside of the venue. This was like an armory, and he was actually just messing around with the fan, doing the worm, to the point where, like I said, we had a whole crowd around us, and they all recorded it. And then Tucker Knight, who was his tag team partner at the time, he was another guard, another security person. They literally just taking tickets at the door, taking ticket stubs. But Otis has such a charisma and a relation with the fans as far as like entertaining them, just being a security guard to where the WWE brass that was actually there, they saw that. And then I remember later on, they were talking to Otis for like a long time, like maybe 45, 50 minutes. And then next thing you know, because a friend of mine, Jason Cade, he was working there too. And now he's off wrestling as well. But like 3 weeks later, and then all of a sudden you see Otis in a tryout class with a whole bunch of the other independent guys in Orlando, Florida in 2017, and then he got a contract. So it's just little stuff like that, because he was just a body guy. He wasn't a wrestling guy, but little stuff like that. He took the little gig that WWE gave him, which was like taking tickets at the door, being a security person, looking out for the NXT talent, and then his charisma oozed out with the fans, just with that little altercation, that little interaction, and then he ended up getting a tryout based off his charisma, and then obviously he was also built for it. So the sky's the limit. You just surprised. So shout out to Otis, and then all of a sudden now he's in Scotland, carrying all these different beautiful ladies all over the place, from Mandy to Maxine. It's amazing.
Wow, that's an incredible story. Very cool. This is why I have NJ Holiday on the show. He knows what he's talking about.
Yes, sir. Shout out to Otis.
Yeah, there you go. Well, of course, Sami Zayn beats Chad Gable, who, by the way, has officially re-signed with WWE. Not a surprise there, but yeah, Otis and Maxine are probably out of the orbit of the Alpha Academy.
Well, it is a bit of surprise, Mark. Let's keep it honest.
Oh, yeah?
Let's keep in mind about look at the journey now. Let's keep in mind if Vince was still in power, we'd be calling this man what? Shorty G. Probably still coming out in these little basketball shorts and this singlet. Like, yeah, I wouldn't.
You had to remind us of that.
Yes, I did, because you said it's no surprise, no big deal, but it's a huge deal. Shout out to Chad Gable and his family for re-signing a nice, lucrative, long-term deal with the WWE. And I took the time to see that interview that he did with some of the guys over there at WWE, another content creating wrestling format that goes by WWE Guerrilla Position. Shout out to you guys. They had a nice exclusive interview with Chad Gable the morning of or the weekend of, where Chad actually took the time to say that he was happy that he resigned with WWE, made the announcement, and a huge component of him resigning with WWE was because of Triple H.
Yep.
Paul Levesque. And this era that Paul Levesque has ushered in here at WWE, that he is very kin of and he's very happy of. And one thing that Chad said that stuck out that made him want to resign is that Triple H kept his word and kept his promise that he made to Chad as far as where his career was going, how he would be showcased on TV, and the matches that he would be headlining in over the last year. So shout out to Paul Levesque, shout out to Triple H, for like Chad Gable keeping his word as a man, keeping his promise to Chad Gable, which was a huge component in Chad re-signing with the WWE. So that is huge, ladies and gentlemen, with this new era that we're going into, that the talent is saying these nice, kind things of the new legit owner, the new legit head of all of WWE, the chief operating officer, Paul Levesque.
Yeah, no doubt. And you know, it's funny because I had interviewed Chad at WrestleMania 39. And, you know, I had brought up about the fact that, you know, maybe it's time for him to start wrestling some singles matches, and had brought up the possibility of wrestling people like Gunther and so on. It's hilarious. I mean, I didn't think I was completely foretelling the future. But
that's exactly what you did.
But I guess I did.
5-star matches with Gunther, 5-star matches with Sami Zayn, 5-star matches with Bronson Reed, 5-star matches with all these other heavyweights, and he's a cruiserweight, so to speak. But Alpha Academy was what he needed. As you can see in the pro wrestling business, a beautiful thing. Everybody gets their starts in what? A pro wrestling faction. And those pro wrestling factions get what? A lot of immersed TV time, a lot of immersed storytelling, a lot of immersed segments, a lot of immersed layers. And with Chad Gable, he was able to create his own Alpha Academy, his own faction, to where it started with Otis and it grew with Maxine and it grew with Tozawa. And that is sort of keeping him in the limelight of Monday Night Raw as a main factor for Monday Night Raw programming when it came to the Judgment Day, when it came to Alpha Academy, when it came to the Bloodline, when it came to Imperium. So one thing that everybody wants to strive for and they need to strive for is they need to be involved in a pro wrestling faction in some way, shape, or form, because that will. It's not going to guarantee you, but it will give you a nice leg up, a nice startup to having one hell of an essential, memorable WWE career, as you can see right now with Chad Gable.
There you go. Well, let's step back, take a break here, NJ, and when we come back, we're going to keep rolling on Clash at the Castle. There's obviously some other things happened there as well. CM Punk, he was a bad, bad boy last night. He made the Scottish people very, very angry. Look at NJ in there.
CM
You
Punk.
see him?
CM
There
Punk.
he goes.
CM Punk.
Oh, my
CM
God.
Punk.
All you CM Punk apologists. Unbelievable. Stick around, everybody. We got a whole lot more on the Mark Hoke Show. And, of course, Matt Black from WrestleZone joining us in hour 2. We'll be right back.
1015 FM KDAWN. This is the Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Here again, your host, Mark Hoke.
All right, let's bring it on back for another segment of the Mark Hoke Show here on KDAWN. It's the best in pro wrestling news and entertainment. And it gets even better when NJ Holliday's in the house.
Yes, sir.
Man, I'll tell you.
Stay woke.
Yeah, been a while, man.
It's been a minute. Hey, but let me take the time to shout out everybody. Let me take a minute to say a special happy Father's Day to the man, the myth, the legend, the biggest mark in pro wrestling, Mark Hoke.
Oh, wow.
Yes, sir, Mark Hoke. Happy Father's Day to you, my brother.
Well, thank you, my
Thanks
daughters.
for having me on this best Father's Day edition of the Mark Hoke Show.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. My daughter's actually sitting out here right now hanging out.
There you go.
Yeah, what a great dad I am. I drag her butt out of bed at 5:30 in the morning. Yeah.
Hey,
way to go, Pops.
Work don't stop. And I'm pretty sure once the show is over with, I know you got the ice cream on deck. I know you got the food on deck. I know you got the lights, maybe the water park on deck. Hey, Cowabunga Bay ain't too far away from here. It is Sunday. They open.
Thanks for spending my money.
There you go.
NJ Holiday. Good job. Jerk. Anyway, that's all good. Yeah, happy Father's Day to all you dads out there, and especially to you single dads. You don't get the credit. We don't get the credit. So keep it in mind.
Shout out to all the single daddies out there.
Yeah, there's a lot of us doing a lot of hard jobs out there. So
hard times, like Dusty Rose said, hard times.
Right, hard times.
Hard times.
Yes, Bailey knocks off Piper Niven yesterday in Clash at the Castle. Piper Niven gets a nice showcase in front of her hometown crowd in Scotland. And you know what I was thinking when I was watching her actually get to wrestle a good match?
What?
Vince McMahon made her dewdrop.
Hey,
you were talking about
just talking about Chad Gabriel and Shorty G and how that was a big come up. Yes. Now look, dewdrop. Yeah, he sure did. Piper Niven. Look, shout out to Piper. Like I said, stay relentless. She stayed at it. She stayed consistent. You know what I'm saying? She didn't get on Twitter and complain. She didn't ask for a release. She stayed true to her craft. She stuck through it. And then, look, you beat the benefits of the reward when you can stick through those hard times. And now, look, she went all the way to her home country. Big time, big fight field, big title match in front of her fans and family, her husband. And hey, the sky's the limit for Piper. And then I'm anxious to see how this story is going to go with her and Chelsea Green. Well, I'm sorry, where Samantha Irvin say, Chelsea Green.
Wow. That was pretty good.
Yeah, that was. Hey,
man.
So shout out to them because, like I said, shout out to Samantha Irvin. Hopefully we don't lose you. I know Ricochet and his contract is the big talk of the summer right now. But shout out to Samantha Irvin, the MVP this year. Made her debut on WWE 2K14. That's how big of an impact she done made on the industry right now as a ring announcer. For you to be implanting it to your full game model into a video game as a ring announcer is huge. But shout out to her. Shout out to Chelsea Green making the most of that special entrance that Samantha Irvin will give her. Because now on the shows that Samantha Irvin's on Raw, with Chelsea Green being on SmackDown, she has this new custom entrance with the voice of Samantha Irvin at the top of the entrance every time, and then it plays Chelsea Green's track now. So
nice.
It's intricated into her entrance track now. So shout out to Chelsea Green. Smart business move with her now being on SmackDown and Samantha Irvin staying on Raw.
There you go. So, but yeah, nice match. And boy, Bailey gets a win on her birthday. So happy post-birthday to Bailey, as she will now probably head into SummerSlam. Getting ready for...
I wanna know that girl, Bailey. Hey, I wanna know that girl. I love that crowd. I love overseas crowds.
They're
man.
fun.
They're amazing.
They are fun.
It's just a beautiful thing of Bailey and her reach Because, man, they're in France, she's getting that chant. They're in Scotland, she's getting that chant. They're in Canada, she's getting that chant. She's in Australia, then she's getting that chant. It's just shout out to her. Shout out to Bayley being a once in a generation like girl that men across many continents are drooling over.
Oh,
so shout out to Bayley.
Who wouldn't want to date Bayley? Are you kidding me?
Well, Aaron Solo, who dropped that ball.
Yeah.
But we don't have to get there.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank him. He did the world a favor.
There you go.
Yeah.
So main event: Damian Priest, Drew McIntyre, and of course the Scottish fans that paid $300 to $400 a ticket to attend this Clash at the Castle, expecting that Drew McIntyre will be walking out of there, partying up in Glasgow, Scotland as the new WWE champion.
Don't do that, Mark. Don't do that. Now you pulling. Now you pulling a stunt. Another radio personality that I've been following does. You're trying to build them up to bring them down.
The beer's flowing.
Don't do that.
The kilt's getting lifted.
Don't do that.
Everything, just the bagpipes playing all night long in Glasgow. Oh, no. No. As CM Punk pulls the screw job. Of course, we have a referee get knocked out, another referee. And by the way, I got to stop for a second and give the new head of production, TV production, Lee Fitting, who is the guy that took over for Kevin Dunn, such massive credit for what he has done since he's taken over and has completely changed the look of broadcast for WWE. But he did an amazing job setting up those camera shots so you could not see who the referee was that was running to the ring and doing that 2 count. What an amazing job with the camera work. Amazing. But, of course, there's a referee jumps in after the ref gets knocked out. Drew hits a second Claymore. He's got Damian Priest down. You see the 1, you see the 2, and whoever this referee is stops. And then the camera shifts to another angle, and it's CM Punk holding up a 2 to Drew, and Drew is just horrified. Just horrified.
Hey, man, he begged for it. He begged for it. He begged for it. He begged for it. When you poke the bear, you just got to be ready for them claws to come back.
It was an accident.
It was an accident, but look, Mark, everything that he said on Twitter afterwards was no accident.
No, that's true.
Everything he did on Twitter, all the shirts,
the WrestleMania
all the jokes, all the slugs, all the zingers, all the puns, everything that he sent CM Punk's way while he was stuck at home, nursing that injury, missing WrestleMania 40, his WrestleMania comeback, because this man don't know how to get into he doesn't know how to hit a safely executed future shock. The move that he hadn't done in months, by the way, but all of a sudden now you want to do it on a guy that just made his return to WWE, and then you find a way to injure him, and he misses WrestleMania moment. So kudos to CM Punk. Kudos to Phillip Brooks getting his comeback. Not only did you cost him the world title at WrestleMania 40 in front of his wife,
yes,
who's in our prayers, who unfortunately could not make it,
yes,
to Scotland to see this match with Drew McIntyre at Clash of the Castle. She's in our prayers. She had an emergency surgery that she had to stay in the States for, so she couldn't make the flight to Scotland.
Thank God she didn't.
Well, I don't want to say that, but
come on. You think she wanted to see that?
I mean, hey,
there have been some. Punk would have been in her face too.
What she saw what happened to Drew at WrestleMania 40 in Philly.
She didn't need to see
how he got stomped out by a one-armed man. And, I mean, it couldn't get no worse than that, but it literally did last night at Clash at the Castle in Scotland in front of all those Scottish fans. But shout out to CM Punk. You got your revenge. I'm excited for SummerSlam because these guys are finna tear their house down. They're finna kill each other. And shout out to those Scottish fans that had their CM Punk shirts on in the front row.
All 12
and then,
of them.
Yeah, and then CM Punk found them, and they welcomed him with open arms and gave him a hug and kissed and everything, and a job well done for screwing over their hometown boy, Drew McIntyre. Shout out to those Scotland fans that was in the front row with their CM Punk shirts on.
I give them credits for their courage.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Shout out.
But now this is going to get very interesting. And of course, the Scotland fans were apparently afterwards were, shall we say, displeased.
When a wrestling fan's not displeased, you can't have everything you want.
That's true.
Shout out to
they were unhappy, but of course, obviously this is part of a much bigger picture for this whole thing.
Thank you.
And it's gonna I have a feeling that there's going to be some very entertaining intricacies coming up with this, because now not only are you going to get this feud, but you would think that the World Championship is still going to stay in the picture of this, which means there's another guy that's going to be involved in all this.
Well,
because Gunther's getting a title shot,
right? And that's why I don't think the world title will be involved in this feud just yet. I think if CM Punk and Drew McIntyre do their job and make this feud the most talked about feud in all of the current land of WWE segments and other rivalries that are going on. If CM Punk and Drew do what they're already doing and keep this rivalry hot and keep everybody invested, then you start to overtake other feuds, other rivalries, other title matches, because everybody's talking about, ooh, you see what CM Punk just did that week? Ooh, did you see what Drew McIntyre just did to respond? Ooh, did you see where they was battling out of this past week on Raw? Ooh, did you see what happened at Money in the Bank? If they keep their rivalry as the most talked about feud in the current landscape of the WWE, then yes, it begins to overshadow the other champions, the other title matches. And once that happens, then you're obligated to add that title to the feud to enhance it. Case in point, we've seen this before. 2017, Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa.
Mm-hmm.
Rivalry of the year.
Yep.
To the point, it overshadowed the WWE champion, well, the NXT champion at the time, who was Aleister Black. Aleister Black, who was he wasn't even main eventing the NXT takeovers anymore as a champion. Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano were, based off of their rivalry from being former tag team partners to now bitter rivals. And then you had him and that match that finish we all want to forget, with him and Lars Sullivan, and how Lars botched the Black Mass finish.
Yeah. Yeah, that didn't happen.
And then, it
didn't happen.
But that's the case in point to where months later on a random episode of NXT, you had a random NXT title match. Ciampa, Black, Gargano gets involved. He inadvertently hits Black with the title, and now we got Tommaso Ciampa as the NXT champion. Nobody saw that coming, but the title added to their feud and enhanced it. So, like you said, for now, Gunther is gonna be teasing this feud with Damian Priest for the upcoming months. I thought we would see a little tease of maybe Imperium and Judgment Day. Who knows? We could talk about that right now because they kicked Da Vinci out. Kaiser's doing his own little thing, but he's still alongside Gunther. So if you were you and you're booking Gunther, who won the King of the Ring, so now he got the automatic title shot.
Which is why I hated that, by the way.
I
wanted him to win, but I don't like the automatic title shot.
I love it in this aspect because I've been a fan of WWE for a while. You go back 22 years. Yeah, I said it. You go back 22 years. They had this stipulation in place at King of the Ring 2002. And the winner of that, he got a undisputed title shot in the main event of SummerSlam. And the person who won that King of the Ring tournament in 2002 was who? They can't say his name right now in WWE, but we can say his name right now on the Mark Hoke Show, and that is the Beast incarnate, Brock Lesnar. He won the King of the Ring 2002, which gave him an automatic main event shot against the undisputed champion, who was who? Who was who at the time? It was The Undertaker. But at the next following pay-per-view, the title changed hands against a returning superstar, returning megastar, and The Rock. And they went on to SummerSlam, and we got Brock versus Rock. First time ever for the undisputed title, and hey, we never got to see that match again. So that's why I like the stipulation. And Gunther,
okay. we got to get to a break. I'm going to tell you real quick why I'm going to fight you on that when we come back. By the way, I got to say, give a shout out to our good friend, super photographer, Bionic Scoop out there. Says this story is beautifully crafted.
Oh,
he's right. He's absolutely right. But Scoop, amazing photographer out there, does terrific stuff in wrestling. Hire him, everybody out there. He's awesome. But I'm going to fight you on that for a sec. But I'll tell you why just when we come back from our break here on the Mark Hoke Show on KDAWN. We'll be right back. Best in pro wrestling news and entertainment. I'm along for the ride. NJ Holiday when we come back.
101.5 FM KDAWN. You're listening to the #1 professional wrestling radio show in Vegas, The Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Now, here again is Mark Hoke.
And we are back for our final segment of hour number 1 of The Mark Hoke Show.
Hoke, 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 Hoke.
Yeah, baby. I like that. NJ Holiday, always bringing joy to everything he touches.
Bring the energy.
Yeah. You betcha. And now I'm going to tell him he's wrong. No, but here's my thing. We were talking about the automatic title shot that you get when you win King of the Ring. And the one thing that, to me, that it complicates a little bit is if you've got a hot storyline, or God forbid you have an injury or something like that, having that 3 pay-per-views out, can maybe mess things up a little bit. We've got a situation right now, and with this thing with Drew and Punk. Now, do you need to have the World Championship involved in it? No. I would grant you that. It's red hot. You don't need the title. But would it be fun to have it? Yeah. Of course it would. And now, if you want to involve it, now you got Gunther in the mix. And then now you're going to have maybe Punk and Gunther meet, and one of them's got to take losses. You got to mix Drew in there too if you want to have that title involved. And it just kind of it gets a little crazy with booking because you get Damian Priest involved in this too. So and eventually one of them's gonna, let's say Gunther beats Priest at SummerSlam. Drew's gonna want that title at some point, and at some point you're gonna have to send Punk after it. So you got to split this whole thing off, and it's gonna get messy. I have a way out. I have a real fun way out.
Let's hear it.
Money in the Bank's coming up.
Uh-huh.
Somebody's got to win that briefcase.
Who's your early favorite? Who you got winning the men's Money in the Bank this year?
How about Drew McIntyre? How about Drew McIntyre? So let's just say that Gunther ends up beating Damian Priest at SummerSlam. Then you're going to set up eventually a Punk. I would imagine you're going to get a Punk Gunther match, right? I could see a really fun scenario where Punk, McIntyre, and Gunther are rotating through the World Championship situation. But could you imagine if you get a Punk Gunther match?
Yeah.
And Punk manages to go through this match from hell to beat Gunther. And Drew has the case and takes the World Championship away from Punk. Huh?
I like it.
It's not bad.
It's not a bad.
That's not bad.
Not a bad hypothetical. Not a bad for Drew to get his lick back. I like it.
There's a lot of fun there, but I think Drew getting the Money in the Bank briefcase and possibly screwing over Punk at some point. Oh my God. You could be setting something really nasty up for WrestleMania.
I think for now, I like that. I think for now, though, I think Punk has a long path ahead of him to prove or to show the WWE brass that he can
stay healthy.
Yeah. One, and then hang in a match like that with a Gunther, because Gunther has been putting on 5-star clinics. Gunther's been in matches no less than maybe 15 minutes. So for Punk to have that kind of like match with him, I don't even think Punk's gonna be in the World Heavyweight title picture for a while until he can prove that, yes, he can stay healthy, and yes, that he can hang. I gotta see, and then we gotta see him actually have a match on Monday Night Raw. Once he has something like that for a consistent basis on for back-to-back weeks, I think that will build up enough confidence for the WWE brass to put him in the WWE heavyweight title picture. But for now, like I said, to rebuttal the King of the Ring thing, 3 months out, yeah, it is a pretty much of a stretch. But that is based to the money ties that they got with Saudi Arabia, and they felt like they needed to come out there with a big, lavish pay-per-view, which was King of the Ring. And then, unfortunately, it was just so early. But what the King of the Ring 2002 Undisputed Championship winner stipulation did for Brock Lesnar, it can't be understated, basically, because this was a guy in his rookie year. He got a chance to work a Hall of Famer Legends icon in the mass of like 6 months. He beat Ric Flair, he beat Booker T, he beat Big Show, he beat RVD, and then he beat Hulk Hogan, and then he ultimately went on to beat The Rock, and he beat The Undertaker. He did all this in 1 year. So the catapult that this tournament can launch Gunther in to, after just losing the Intercontinental Championship, after that record-setting reign, Mark, that record-setting reign that he had.
And I had no problem with him winning it. I just don't think I think they could have done a slow burn on it as opposed to saying, well, here's a world championship match.
Yeah, well,
he
kind of still is a slow burn, because look how far out the championship match is compared to when SummerSlam actually is happening for him to have his title shot. So it is still kind of a slow burn. You're still getting what you want. So
it's just me. Maybe it's just me. I'm just being a contrarian. I don't know.
I'm excited.
I could be right. I could be wrong. You guys can say it in the chat box, whatever you want.
Let us know what y'all think. Do y'all agree with the stipulation of this year in 2024, the winner of the King of the Ring tournament getting an automatic championship match into the main event of SummerSlam for a title of their brand? I honestly, Mark, one last thing, I honestly would think that they could have added a stipulation letting the person of the King of the Ring choose if they wanted to face the champion on Raw or SmackDown.
There you go. All right. Well, hey, we're wrapping up hour number 1. NJ Holiday firing them off. Matt Black's going to be joining us from WrestleZone in hour number 2. So this should be a lot of fun because, oh boy, Matt and NJ on the same show. Yikes. Stick around, everybody. We'll be right back.
It's about to get spicy.
Want more of The Mark Hoke Show? Follow us on Twitter at Mark Hoke Show, like us on Facebook at The Mark Hoke Show, and visit markhokeshow.com to keep up with everything happening with the show. And remember to check out all of our archive shows on YouTube at The Mark Hoke Show and download our podcasts at markhokeshow.podbean.com and all your favorite podcast outlets. So join The Mark Hoke Show family today, and thanks for listening.